Test. Okay.
And if we are beacon and call, and at first again we need to kind of, so let's first start with this to a very take then just yeah, and let's actually also go back to, so we can drag off 5 less like and 3 getting 10 power set relatively. So after UE5 is like we actually go back to the original position. Start with the animation source, so AS underscore. In this episode we're gonna implement the base for our actual enemy. So far we've just been using this captain guy as our enemy, but now we're actually gonna put in the shark guy and use the BP shark. So we can just get rid of this guy, so select the captain and hit delete on your keyboard. And now if we start, it's just our own character. So we can first go to the characters and well, blueprint's character is shark, and open this up and open the full blueprint editor, and in the viewport the first thing we want to do is select the sprite, and here look for idle, but use the shark idle. And the problem we have here is that, well, it's flipped around, so we can just go to the rotation on the Z and type in 180 to make sure it's looking to the right. And then we also want to set the position, so in this case we can drag left here, and at first, yeah, just kind of eyeball it, and I think this looks good. Yes, but we might have to move it up or down for the legs. So just go into the map and drag this guy out. I'm dragging up a little bit so he can fall down, and start the game, eject, and now we can zoom here. But actually this looks perfect. It is perfectly aligned, because I think it is the same height.
Fried zucchini is good, bro.
So we didn't have to change anything here. Let's now just make sure that it's on the same line as our character. So we can go to the player start, and on the Z, the Y, we can copy this value, the green one, and go here and paste it, and put it here. And yeah, but the thing is that we still can't attack it.
I'm not. Fried zucchini is good.
Some things work, but the animations don't work because we still need to set up paper ZD for this guy. So we open up the content drawer again.
Good. Hope the new language is coming along.
Just dismiss this error. And right click paper ZD, and as always start with the animation source. So AS underscore shark. And in here we need to register all of our animations. So we can add new animation sequence, and start with the idle. And double click, and here we can just look for the idle shark. And zoom out a little bit, and yeah, of course here is facing left again, but that is not an issue. And new animation sequence, run, and here we look for a run for the shark run. For this guy we don't need jumping and falling. The next one is the stun, and here we just use the hit. I think it's called hit. Yeah, shark hit. Not shark death hit, just shark hit. Use this one. And the next one, add the defeated, and here we use the
It's not past the first 3 letters, it's only 3 letters.
And this
Ziba,
is different from the captain
she's
because
a
it's actually
pizza.
flashes. But yeah, it's fine.
You're already like, what is it called? Gaelic? It sounds very similar to a Irish language.
And then lastly we need the attack, so add a new one and call it attack, like this. And here we look for shark and attack, and these are all the animations we need for the shark. Some of
Why do you need my help? I know nothing. I hardly know anything about English. Why do you want my help with making a language? And if I were to make a language, it wouldn't be based off the English alphabet. It'd be based off my own alphabet. That's where I think you should start if you are wanting to make a language. Like, you can't here. This is the help I'll give you. And I'll be happy to talk to you about it, but I'm not, like, I can't specifically help you. You have to think about what the scope of your language is, right? You're just saying, I want 29 letters, right? So like you make your 29 letters and you put it into this box. So what do each of those 29 letters sound like, right? Because you need the THs, you need the STs, you need the ch sounds. Does C still sound like K? You know, it's all of these things that you have to keep in mind when you're creating whatever language with whatever amount of letters. And seeing how you could fit this into like some language of your own so that this sounds like that. Well, it's like, again, it's just like saying some number. I think you'd be better off starting like, do I want this to have a sound, or do I just want S and T to have their own sounds? Do I want C and H to have their own sounds, or them have a sound together? Right? Because if I'm not familiar in Arabic, right, there are 2 or 4 different letters that sound dramatically the same. And it's like dependent on how they are said with the that you can decipher that difference. And so that's what you need to be thinking about when you're making a language. At least this is what I would do if I was doing that.
These still look weird. The idle is a little bit fast. The run is a little bit fast. So we might want to change the frame rate here. And to do that, I can just open up this menu under paper assets, the shark, the flipbooks. Here we have the flipbooks. And let's see. So I think the attack is fine. Actually, it's a little bit fast because the player's attack should be faster than the enemy attack. So let's make it slow. So yeah, we have some anticipation and maybe even more. So 9 frames. Yeah, I think 9 frames is enough because it gives us time to react to the character.
Yeah, if you can react to 10,
and
that's
then we can
slow.
open up again, control space to open this up. I think that is fine. Hit is fine. Just the idle is a little bit fast, so maybe 8 is a little bit slow. So I think 10 frames per second for the idle is good, and for the run is also very fast. And I think maybe even less because the character, the enemy should be slower than our character. 6 is not enough. Yeah, I think 9 is about right for him.
Why are you giving again with the constraints, bro? So the amount of Swedens by next year. Okay, so like I want to have 10K words in 365 days, right? So like right here out of the gate, 10,000 words divided by 365 is an average of 27 words a day. This is not realistic. Give yourself realistic goals so you can achieve the goals that you want. So in my head, instead of this, like this is a 3-year plan to me. Because what does a 3-year plan look like? Well, 365 times 3 is 1,095 days. So 10,000 divided by is an average of 9 words a day. This is much more manageable. Like you're 12. You'll be 15 by the time you're done with your own language. Plenty of time for you to market this to college, right? Yeah, exactly. Like take it slow. You know, there's no reason for this to happen within a year.
but we can change
Good things take time.
this later. So we can just exit out of these flipbooks. Yes, so one thing we cannot forget about is to set up our attack. And here we can see that this is the first active, 3.
But now I can walk squat as long as I want. No fail. Yeah, good.
And we can actually say that the 4 is also still active. So we have an active hitbox on 3 and 4. That is what we want. So here we can just right click and add notify state, the A and S attack that we created before. We can simply reuse this. Because we already put the work in. We don't need to do this again. And we can just right click it and it starts on notify frame 3. Just put in 3 and enter. And we want it to be 2 frames long. So notify state frames 2 and hit enter. And this one is a little bit more active than the players. It has longer startup, it is slower, but therefore it is more active. And even if we touch it later, we are still gonna get hit. And this is what I was talking about before, where we want to have this more versatile system. So the next thing we want to do is go into the BP Shark, and I think the hitbox might be a bit too big for the attack. So again, to test this, we can go to Sprite and just select the attack sprite for the shark. Actually, let's go for shark attack, like this. And yeah, the hitbox is way bigger than the attack itself. So we can just make the play rate 0.1, so we have time to react here. And once it's out, we can just put it to 0 and stop it completely. And this gives us a better idea of how we can match the hitbox to the animation. So here, I think we just want to make it shorter here. So on the X, we can go like this and drag it to the left. And I think this is about fine. This is a good hitbox for this kind of attack. So yeah, 40, let's say 42 on the X. And the position is 70. And now let's go back to the sprite and set the play rate back to 1. And set this back to shark idle. And yeah, so now we adjusted the hitbox for the shark. The logic behind it is still the same because it is all in the BP action char. And compile and save. We still need to set up the animation blueprint though, because we just registered the animation source, but yeah.
But can you work on it? Oh. No, bro. Let me show you something. This is my schedule, bro. Like, I'm a busy dude. I can help you in the sense that when you come in here and you ask me questions, I can kind of guide you in a direction that I would take. But can I sit down and work on this time and time again? No. I'm my own boss. I'm a boss for my wife. I do this now, which takes up anywhere between 2 to 5, 6 hours of my day. I run a marketing page for my friend who has a painting business, and I play Valorant competitively. I have very little time for myself and my wife. When we finish 100 words, you can tell people that you speak a psycho language and seem smart. I mean, I speak like 100 words of Japanese right now, and that's usually enough to make people think I'm smart. So I kind of just roll with that.
Yeah, we go to character, blueprints, character, shark. And here we want to now create the animation blueprint. So we can go to paper ZD AnimBP, and we want to base this off the AS shark and call it ABP shark, like this, and double click it to open it up. And as always, the first thing we can get owning actor, paper ZD get owning actor, and in this case cast to
And I will sound like Einstein. What is Einstein famous for?
paper ZD AnimBP, and we want to base this off the AS shark and call it ABP shark, like this, and double click it to open it up. And as always, the first thing we can get owning actor, paper ZD get owning actor, and in this case cast to shark, cast to BP shark, like this, and just save, promote the variable shark.
For his theory of relativity, do you know what his theory of relativity was? It's something that everybody knows, is your hint.
Like this. And compile and save. And now in the anim graph, as always, we want to create our state machine, add new state machine, and call it locomotion. And we already know that we're again going to use an override here, so we need to prepare the slot. So we can go slot, new override slot, and yeah, just default slot is fine. And we already know that we're again going to use an override here, so we need to prepare the slot. So we can go slot, new override slot, and yeah, just default slot is fine, and just connect this here. And this is for our animation montages, animation overrides. So we already prepared this. And a lot of the things are going to be similar to the BP captain, the ABP captain, so we can just close a lot of these things here and just keep the ABP captain and ABP shark open, because yeah, we need to look at these things for reference. So yeah, again, the first thing of course is the idle. So we can create a new animation state and call it idle. And open it up, and here just play idle, like this. And this is going to be the idle of the shark, because we are connected to this animation source, so we don't have to differentiate. It already knows which ones it can use. And then drag off here, new animation state, and call it run, like this. And here we just play run, just like this. Play run. In the captain we have the jump, this. Play run, just like this. Play run. In the captain we have the jump,
I'll type it in chat. That's what Einstein is known for. Energy is equal to the mass times the speed of light squared. That's good for you. Sine hypotenuse. Adjacent sides in mathematics. It's because energy cannot be created or destroyed. Yeah. The reason why this was interesting and groundbreaking is because he realized that c, the speed of light, and it being squared times some mass equals energy. So imagine if we can harness this power, right? Have something going in a circle inside of like a car going twice the speed of light, and that has some mass. You'd have infinite energy in your car. How do you think I earn from selling pottery? How much do you think I earn from selling pottery? In what, like dollars? $100.
Price and the fall, which we don't need. But what we do need is the stunned, and the defeated. So we can right click here, animation state, and call it stunned. And go in here and play stun. And again, the stun is kind of the flashing effect, so we only want it to play once, so don't loop the animation. And here, locomotion. And we want to create the same jump. So the jump stunt, it should also have the same name. So we can just reuse the blueprint. So we can create a jump and connect it here. And just to make sure, we can go here and copy. So we don't have any typos, and paste it here. Jump stunt. And we also need a connection back to idle, because yeah, from the stunt we can recover and go back to idle. And the next one is the defeated state. So here we can again animation state and call it defeated, like this, and open it up and play defeated. And again, the defeated one, it kind of flashes and bounces, so we only want to play it once and then just let it play out. And then here again we can look the jump defeated. So right click, create a new jump and connect it here. And then here we just copy again the name, go here and paste the name like this, jump defeated. So yeah, we're playing.
Wrong. It's that amount times 2. And I'm gonna earn $500 an hour by the time I'm 15 and have more experience. Good for you. I can't wait for that for you.
This, and it's all fine. From defeated, we don't need to go
That's
back
amazing.
anywhere. But we also need to go back from run to idle. And now we need to set up these conditions. So again, we can just go to the captain and look at here, idle to run. What do we have here? Oh, we had the get velocity vector length bigger than 0. We can just copy this without the captain, and then open up the idle to run here. Put this in here and move this over. And then instead of the captain, we can just get the shark and put it in here. And this is good. Then for the run to idle back, again, we just get velocity vector length and make sure it's the opposite of this. and then copy it, go to the shark, paste it in here, and again use the shark here for get velocity. And lastly, to go from stunned back to idle, we can again look at this.
And I'll still say I'm trilingual, and that frags. Yeah. You're funny.
This stunned to idle. Yeah, just make sure is stunned, not copy this. And here, stunned to idle on the shark. The same, but just use the shark here. Like this. And compile and save. And yeah, this should be it for our locomotion. We have the idle, we have the run, we have the stunned, and we have the defeated. Well, the attack is not here because again for the attack we're gonna use an override. And now that we have this, we still need to set this up in the blueprint of the shark. So open up blueprints characters shark, BP shark, and here for the animation component.
Yeah, that, bro.
There's shark, BP shark, and here for the animation. Component. For the anim instance class, we just use the ABP shark. And compile and save, and let's...
I'm happy for you that it's your favorite word, bro. Oh.
See if this works. So yeah, I'm gonna attack, and he plays the hit animation twice, 3 times, and the 4th time he's defeated.
We fucking the guy changed.
Like,
oh, Safe, can I talk to you about something? Can I talk to you about game ideas? So, like we were talking yesterday, right? And so the overall goal is cyberpunk theme, Elden Ring S stats, Octopath Traveler look, and how do we get to an RPG with an Octopath Traveler look? So something in the sense of like this kind of view. I'm not like thrilled with like the camera angle. I think I want the camera angle like further away. So something with this, like, you know, have you played Elden Ring at all or have seen gameplay of it? How like you can kind of like pick up skills or like new abilities, incantations, stuff like that, or like skill tree s-based kind of things. These are all things I want to have in like the scope of my game. However, Metal Slug 3 and like a side scroller platformer game is something that I feel like is like missing in the current market. So like the other day I was looking at like Mega Man, because Mega Man was like somewhere on like the homepage. Okay, well, we have games like Dead Cells, right? Like super well known, like 127,000 reviews, like pixel art-esque. I think there needs to be more games kind of in this space of like you can keep side scrolling and the game is fun. I just feel like there's a lack of these. I think you should add some high-tech blimps to explore while keeping the style. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. That is not necessarily like, I'm more talking about like direction, because I think before I end up going with the goals portion of what I want to get done, I think I should just think of a platformer where we have less things to kind of worry about while encompassing the same ideas. So still keep it cyberpunk. Instead of making it in 3D space, keep it in 2D space, and still have like the look and the aesthetic that we're going for. There's also games like Ori. Side scrollers like this, Ori and the Blind Forest. Obviously not this beautiful, but the idea of just a side scroller. When you're saying high tech, you mean like cyberpunk kind of aesthetic with the word high tech? And you're talking about like to get around. I mean, to me, in a way, you know, it really depends on how you want to exit. Like how you enter a map, how you leave a map. Yeah, cyberpunk is high tech. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page with what we were talking about. Cool. So I'm thinking the idea can work, because like, you know, you think about Mario, you enter from like a pipe, you go down pipes, you enter into a castle, more than likely you'll be shot out of a pipe, and you like at the very end of the level you usually go into a pipe. So it's like, what is the aesthetic? But the aesthetic that I'm thinking that I want to like leave maps for is going to be something like this. So you side platform, you jump into a car, and then the car like kind of like takes off and goes somewhere else. You know, that's the idea I have for like closing. But like, you know, overall, it's like the game like this looks so beautiful, even though it's fucking 2D.
This. and it's all good.
Cool, thank you.
And currently there's no way for us to test the walk animation. Well, you can see that while he's falling down, he is playing the walk animation because the velocity is higher. So yeah, we can just assume it also works for moving around. The attack animation we cannot check right now because, well, we first need to implement the AI to make that possible. In this video we're gonna set in.
Did his death animation work?
In this episode, we're gonna implement the base like this. Like this. Have the eye and for it's up in a BP shot, just use this. So yeah, I'm gonna attack, and he plays the hit animation twice, 3 times, and the 4th time, he's defeated.
I have it written down in my notes.
Like this. It's so far. It won't just be able to walk left and right.
Thank you.
It will also be able to follow back and attack once it's in range. And to achieve this, we're gonna use multiple assets from Unreal Engine that are prepared. So we can go to Blueprints and right click, create a new folder called AI, open it up, and if we right click here, Artificial Intelligence, we have behavior trees and blackboards, and we're going to use both of these together with an AI controller. So the first thing I want to do is set up a blackboard, and I'm going to call this BP enemy, just like this, and then right click again, create a new artificial intelligence and go behavior tree, and this is going to be called BT enemy, just like this. So first in the behavior, this is what a blackboard looks like, and it basically just lets us register keys.
Bro, stick around long enough and you'll probably have more than that, bro. Probably get your own character in the game. Anybody that helps, bro. Let's go. Yeah, just keep in mind this shit ain't coming for like 5 years. At least. Minimum. This shit will be crisp. Base the main enemy of my PFP like a lab mutation or something for this for the sake of my beat. What are you trying to say? Try again. Base your game's main villain off the profile picture implement of the lab experiment gone wrong or something. No, I know who my enemies are going to be. I got loads of a life story to put off into this game.
Which are kind of like variables, and the behavior tree can then look at those variables and make certain decisions based on what is in the blackboard. And yeah, that is the simple explanation of what this is. And yeah, in the
can you add my
tree,
profile into it in any way, please, bro? I'm gonna tell you sure for now, but we're talking about 3 years. You know, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. You're gonna be in your fucking 20s. It's a long time. I'm open to it. I don't care. You know, if people want to stick around, that's great. That means the literal fucking world to me. But I've been doing content online for, you know, a little while now, and people just, you know, they come and go. So like for now, I'll tell you, absolutely. You stick around, you'll be here. You'll be in it. Every single person that supports me, bro, one way or another. Whether it's a fucking interactive letter in a game, whether it's a fucking rabbit or a fucking boss, or the fucking main, or like the main, like the sidekick. You know, literally any of it. But I'm open to all of it. We'll see if you even give a shit about it by the time this game starts getting created. Maybe you want something totally different.
The root, and we basically have 3 different composites. So we have the selector. And for the selector, it's gonna go from left and right, and it's gonna find the first action that is doable and successful, and it's just gonna do that one and then complete. And the sequence is something different, and it's also gonna start from left to right, but it's gonna finish once one of these fails. So the sequence is if you wanna have multiple things, play one after another. The selector is if you just wanna play one thing and see which one is successful. And then lastly is the simple parallel. And here we can simply do 2 things at the same time. So we have the main task here, and we have a subtask here that can happen in the background while the main task is running. But yeah, so this is the basic overview. And
we both give more shit to the toilet than your game. Why did they make give a shit a good thing when people hate shit?
We're gonna come back later here to make the enemy move towards the player.
Couldn't tell you.
And again, these behavior trees, it's a whole big huge concept that really understanding it in detail needs hour-long tutorials. So again, I'm just gonna teach you the basics that you need for this tutorial, because again, the main purpose is to teach you how we can make 2D games, and also in this case how we can make a simple 2D AI without going too deep into how we can create behavior trees. And we can go back to the content drawer, and
Yeah, probably.
here in the AI we can right click, blueprint class, and look for AI controller. And yes, it is this one, AI controller, below the controller. and select this and just call it AIC underscore enemy. And yeah, these three are kind of a set. They work together. And in the AIC enemy, what we can do, we don't need anything. The viewport, just go to event graph and on begin play. We want to set up the connection between the blackboard and the behavior tree. So here we can use blackboard, just like this, and select the blackboard asset type, which is the BB enemy. And here we can then run behavior tree. And this basically just starts up the behavior tree and lets it know that we want to use it. And the BT asset is here our BT enemy. And we can compile and save.
It's not a phrase. It's a word. Probably.
And we now need to let the BP shark know that it wants to use this AIC enemy. So in the BP shark, we can select the top level thing here, the BP shark, and look for AI controller. And here you see the AI controller class. And by default, this is just AI controller, but we want to change it to be AIC enemy, which is the custom one we created. And we also want to look at auto possess AI, and not player, but auto possess AI. And this is only placed in world. So this means only if we place a character like this in the world, the AI is actually gonna start controlling it. But in many scenarios, you want to spawn enemies while the game is already running. So in the BP shark, we want to change this auto possess AI to placed in world or spawned. And yeah, this is a very common issue that I see many people have. They forget to set this and then they wonder why the AI is not working. So yeah, just make sure that auto possess is set to placed in world or spawned. Right, and we can compile and save. So to enable the characters following the player, we first need to set a variable for the player in the blackboard. So we can create a new key here, and it's gonna be an object, and I'm gonna call this attack target, which is gonna be the player because we try to attack the player. And then here for the key type, we can open this up, and for base class, we use the BP captain. So yeah, BP captain, because yeah, the player can only be a BP captain, so we can use this as the class for the attack target. And then in the AI controller, the AIC enemy, we can create a function like this, and we're just gonna call set attack target. And yes, so the way we can set a target on the blackboard is just get blackboard here from the AI, the bottom one, get blackboard. And I think this is automatically being set. I don't think we have to actually save this in a variable. I think this is automatic here. And yeah, so we can get the blackboard, and here we want to set value as object, like this. And yeah, here we have two parameters. So we have the key name and the object value. So for the key name, we need to use this attack target. And yeah, so a good way to do this is to drag off and promote to variable and just call it attack target key, and compile and save. And now, very important not to forget this, we need to set the default value here to attack target to have the same name as this one to create the connection. And we then also want to connect this here to create a important not to forget this, we need to set the default value here to attack target to have the same
Man, I just found out. What could you have possibly just found out?
name as this one to create the connection. And we then also want to connect this here to create a parameter and input here. And I'm gonna call this attack target and compile.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
And save. But actually I want to change this object type. This should be a BP captain object reference, like this. To be more specific,
A beef, chicken, or goat, my dude to ask. Probably out of this list, which definitely is like, I think beef is the only one that's top 3. And then probably 4 would be chicken. I don't even know. I don't think I've had goat. I have lamb.
compile and save, and I can just disconnect here and now just look for attack target.
Yeah. I know pork is haram, but that's probably like my number 1. Pork, duck, then beef.
Target, get attack target, which again is just a shortcut from here, so I don't have to use this. And while we're at it, we can also copy and paste this, and I want to save this in a variable as well. Promote to variable, attack target. So this way we can keep track of if we have an attack target active or not. And just move this up here a little bit. So yeah, this is a very simple. So we just pass the attack target and set it in the blackboard here. And now, just to get things rolling after begin play, after we run the behavior tree, we can just call this set attack target, and we just get a player pawn. Here, get player pawn, and cast to BP captain, like this. And just connect it here to attack target. And yeah, but this is just temporary. So now when we start, the AI controller is just gonna look for the player and just set it as the attack target right away. But later we want to make a system where it's proximity based and the enemy just gets aggro once we're close enough. But for now, actually we can just put a comment on here, press C, temporary aggro system. Yeah, just like this. And compile and save. So now we are setting the attack target in the blackboard, so now we can use this value here in the BT enemy in the behavior tree. So here from the root we can just drag off and use a selector, because yeah, we just want one thing to activate here, and then drag off again. And
what's your top 3?
2. Yeah, so this is gonna make our AI move towards the player, well in this case self actor, because we still need to select the blackboard key of attack target. So yeah, move to attack target, and here we have the acceptance radius with which is the distance, that it is successful at. So once we're 5 Unreal Engine units away from the player, it's gonna be successful. And we might have to adjust this later, but for now we can just keep it. So we can then go to the map and play, and the character is not moving because we need a nav mesh. Because without a nav mesh, the AI doesn't know like about the world and how it works and all these kind of things. So here under the plus, we can go to all classes.
Beef 1, lamb 2, seafood 3. What about chicken?
Nav.
Where's
mesh,
chicken?
Bounce.
Where's chicken land? Jesus.
It's volume, and just add this here, and you can drag this down here so it's on the floor, and go to the details panel here, and we can just and you can go to the brush settings here, and we can just drag it to make it big. And thing is here, settings here, and we can just drag it to make it big. And thing is here, we don't really see, we don't really see the nav mesh.
Chicken is overrated? Yeah, I think that's why I have it at 4.
Right now. So what we can do is to go to show and navigation. We don't really big. And thing is here, we don't really see, we don't really see the nav mesh right now. So what we can do is to go to show and navigation. And yes, to add it, like if I and go to the details panel here, and we can just and you can go to the brush settings here, and we can and you can see that the green area is now a proper nav mesh, and actually I made it really big. Where's the brush settings? No, not here. The nav, I can just look here for nav mesh bounce volume, and I actually made it super big. So the brush settings, definitely don't do this. Like 2000 maybe, make it smaller. This is not quite.
Man, unpopular opinion, chicken is overrated. It's a little overrated.
So 5000 like this on the X and 5000 on the Z, and now we have this green area where we know the character can walk around in. And they are following us. And you can see this rotation. They are actually literally looking at us, which I think is a kind of cool effect if we are in 3D Z, and now we have this green, the X and 5000 on the Z, and now we have this green area where we know the character can walk around in. And they are following us. And you can see this rotation. They are actually literally looking at us, which I think is a kind of cool effect if we are in 3D space, we can tap to AI mission. So right, and this is only placed in world. So this means only if we place a character like this. Scenarios you want to spawn player things. The behavior in the so first, yeah, this is what a blackboard looks like, and it basically just lets us register keys, which are kind of like variables, and the behavior tree can then look at those variables and make certain decisions based on what is
Chickens don't gotta worry about that kind of shit, bro.
And yeah, that is the simple explanation of what this is. And yeah, in the behavior tree we can drag off here from the root, and we basically have three different composites. So we have the selector, and for the selector it's gonna go from left and right, and it's gonna find the first action that is doable and successful, and it's just gonna do that one and then complete. And it's also seek play one thing and task, and again these behave in D6 that we gain to the and look for AI controller below the controller and select kind of we don't need anything the viewport, just go to event graph, and on begin play we want to set up the connection between the blackboard and the behavior tree. So
I definitely wouldn't be
use blackboard just like this and select the blackboard asset type, which is the BB enemy, and here we can then run and lets it know that we want to use it, and the BT asset is here. Save this, and we now need to let the BP shark know that it wants to use this AIC enemy. So in the BP shark we can select the top level thing here, the BP shark, and look for AI controller, and here you see the AI controller class, and by default this is just AI controller, but we want to change it to be AIC enemy, which is the only placed in world. So this means, but in many scenarios you want to spawn enemies while the game is already running. So in the BP spawn to set as so for the player in the blackboard. So we can create a new key here, and which is going to be the key type as we try, and I'm gonna call the player up, and for base class we use the BP captain. So yeah, BP captain, because yeah, the player can only be a BP captain, so we can use this as the class for the attack target. And then in the AI controller, the AIC enemy, we can create a function like this, and we're just gonna call set attack target. And yes, so the way we can set a target on the blackboard is just get blackboard here from the AI, the bottom one, get blackboard in a variable. I think this is automatically being set. I don't think we have to actually save this in a variable. I think this is automatic here. And yeah, so we can get the blackboard, and here we want to set value as object like this value. So for the key name we need to use this attack target, and yeah, so a good way to do this is to drag off and promote to variable, and it's called attack target key, and compile and save. And now very important not to forget this, we need to set the default value here to attack target to have the same name as this one to create the connection. And we then all same name as this one to create the connection. And we then also want to connect this here to create a parameter and input here, and I'm gonna call this attack target. and compile and save. But actually I want to change this object type. This should be a BP captain object reference, like this, to be more specific. Compile and save, and I can just disconnect here and now just look for attack target, get attack target, which again is just a shortcut from here, so I don't have to use this. And while we're at it, we can also copy and paste this, and I want to save this in a variable as well. Promote a variable, attack target. So this way we can keep track of if we have an attack target active or not. And just move this up here a little bit. So yeah, this is a very simple. So we just pass the attack target and set it in the blackboard here. And now, just to get things rolling, after begin play, after we run the behavior tree, we can just call this set attack target, and we
Where the fuck isn't my guy running around, bro? I think you know why Frags isn't here? I think he might have been going back to work. He was on a little vacay for a while. Of course, naturally.
we just get a player pawn. Here, get player pawn. And cast to BP captain. Like this. And just connect it here to attack target. And yeah, but this is just temporary. So now when we start, the AI controller is just gonna look for the player and just set it as the attack target right away. But later we want to make a system where it's proximity based and the enemy just gets aggro once we're close enough. But for now, actually we can just put a comment on here, press C, temporary.
Tell me it was that. Tell me it was just
system.
that connection.
Yeah, just like this.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, look, it's chasing after me. Oh my god, oh my god.
In the blackboard, so now we can use this value here in the BT enemy, in the behavior tree. So here from the root, we can just drag off and use a selector, because yeah, we just want one thing to
Yeah, this is
here.
gangster as fuck.
And then drag off again and look for move to. Yeah, so this is gonna make our AI move towards the player, well in this case self actor, because we still need to.
Yeah, this is monumental. I need to record this. You know what it is. AI following me. When you die, just wait for the memes for testing before the release and say you died from. Bro, it'll be huge. It'll be the next best big thing. when. Yeah. Oh. So I went back and started doing notes of the stream, because that is definitely going to be such an easier way to look at shit. Oh god. We'll be right back. Ugh. Yeah, I missed a fucking connection for this. It's so ridiculous. Imagine if you go to the doctor and say I have a fear of big words, and he says you have. That was I think that's like the first thing we were talking about. What's up, Frigs? How's it going, bro? Safe was hypothesizing, saying that you got diagnosed with the word, and that's why you weren't here. So something that it's this fucking guy. So I wanted to talk to you too about this. I got perspective from Frags. So we had talked about the theme and like the Elden Ring and like Octopath, and how like this is like the goal idea, right? So I figured I wanna, I guess, make something first before I tackle the idea that I have in my head, because I guess I feel like I would rather work on do that. I would rather, you know, go through the process of going through Steam, you know, setting it up, making sure that like everything works out good, you know, the first time, and I learn from whatever mistakes happen then, and then going into the second game where it is the idea that, like, you know, is the goal. So I want to talk about the new first idea of it being a 2D side scroller Metal Slug type of game. It's 3:37 a.m. Yeah, it's 7:37 here. I feel like there is a shortage of the side scrollers, especially if we give it the look that we're kind of talking about. And I think you might know Metal Slug. I'm late and nobody knows. 2 people actually know. Bro has that word permanently like on his homepage so he can just go to it and just copy paste it whenever his little heart desires. Yo, can you give people like a little bit of girth? Like a little bit of like if I go in here and I go to the sprite and I want to like if I Z scale him, that's dumb. I don't know how. Hippo, po, tum, and then it's just like a bunch of fucking words at that point. I'll say it for $5. We can definitely turn this boy into a thick boy somehow. There's gotta be a way. I don't care if I do have it. You can't bullshit a bullshitter, bro. Haha, loser. Loser. Oh, why does he get stuck on the wall? This is so cool. Yeah, I feel like if I give them a little bit of thickness, that'd be so funny. Do I have to do that in like... the flipbook thing? I would imagine it'd just be here. Animation sources. Yeah, I can't do anything in here the way I want to. Whatever. You're afraid of long words, that's why you won't say. I personally can't say. Okay. Then I have a fear of long words. Moving on.
Select the blackboard and is here. The character is not meshed under the plus. We and here so and here. Definitely isn't that case effect. Jack will do late beat. But the first issue right now is that the enemy is way too fast. So we can go into the BP Shark and character movement and look for walk, speed. And here max walk speed, just let's put it to 150 and start again. And yes, so this is a lot better, and I think also the animation speed is quite good here. And yeah, so the player walks, the enemy walks towards us, it's chasing us, but it still doesn't know how to attack. And also, like, even while the enemy is stunned, it's still kind of sliding forward, which is not great. And while it's dead, it's also still like looking at us. So there are still a couple of things that we need to change, but well, the base is set up. So like I mentioned before, the issue that we have right now is that if we attack the enemy, it is still like sliding towards us. And this might be a bit hard to see, but if I just increase the stun time, and see the length is stunned, it's still following me with 3 seconds, so we can keep having a look at this. And yeah, so there are many different ways you could do this. And one way would be to just, whenever we get stunned, we could set the walk speed to 0 or just stop movement immediately. But I think those
Oh no, that's here and received.
we could do this. And one way would be to just, whenever we
Oh, this isn't the parent.
get stunned, we could set the walk.
Hope you're having a nice evening, Amazon B-Hop. I hope you, amazing B-Hop. I hope you are too. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. We are learning the ins and outs of trying to do 2D, 3D. We have AI running around following me. Give him a little smack smack. Jump animations. So, a little bit of a health system. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for popping in.
Walk speed to 0 or just stop movement immediately, but I think those aren't really great solutions. So the way that I like to do it is to go in the BB enemy, the blue blackboard, sorry, and create a new key as boolean, and it's called is stunned. And now we can use this in the behavior tree here. So in the selector, we can right click at the upper part. When it shines yellow, we can right click and add a decorator. And the decorator type is blackboard. So a blackboard based condition. And here what we need is blackboard key is stunned. And this is kind of weird because it is set. But actually this is true or false. So is set means true and is not set means false in the case of a boolean. So we want to make sure that
is not stunned
is false and is not set, and only in that case allow the
is not set is stunned.
And this is the first step. However, we still need to synchronize the is stunned state from our blueprint with the.
Do you only use blueprints for now? Yeah. You're gonna learn blueprints, and then the plan is C++ in the future. And then the plan is probably like Godot or like Game Maker Studio after that.
is stun state in the blackboard, which doesn't happen automatically. So inside of the action char, where we set the stun, here is stunned.
Do you have programming experience? This is my 4th time going into code, and the only time I've ever felt confident with at least working in like a language that, like, because I'm a visual based learner, it's very easy for me to like understand what's going on. So just outside of college, I just kept going into like a bunch of programming 101 courses, you know. Other than the first time, the first time I got pretty far. I got into like database structures, and then to say that I remembered anything from the next like database 2, like, oh no, all that shit was like over my head at that point. Got you. What did you study in college? I did semiconductor engineering. I got my degree in microelectronics, and I did that for like a year and a half, and now I own a business, so I'm working on stuff I care about. Exciting. Thank you. Appreciate it. How much longer do you plan on beating that dead horse, or a bow in this case? Yeah, Frags. I agree. It's a lot all the time. The word isn't that funny, bro. Sorry, Safe. Do you do any coding, B-Hop? Do you code in any languages or do blueprints and stuff? And by the way, we're doing a follow along, so it's not like I really know like too much of what's happening here. I will say I understand a whole lot of it, but ask me to do it without it, I probably couldn't. But I do plan on going back through this course and doing a lot of the first couple of sections by myself. You're a software engineer. That's fucking sick. That's so cool. I wish, bro. I wish.
We can also create an event dispatcher. So
what do you think of blueprints and kind of the network that has come out of it? I think it's pretty fucking amazing. Safe, stop being annoying. I am not an expert in blueprints, but I think they are an amazing tool for game developers. Like, totally. Like, I got a ton of inspiration from watching the developers and artists talk about their development in Octopath Traveler and how they loved the blueprint-based system, and they used both in tandem. And I was like, oh, forget it. Like, I'll learn how to do this. Hell yeah. One last one for the day, sure. Go for it, bro. Funny, no problem.
We're just gonna call it stun state changed like this, and compile and save. And we want to give it an input. So while this is selected here, we have an input, and I can just press the plus icon here and just set it to is stunned like this, and have a boolean, and compile and save. And now I can create some space here. We go like this and without this one, and just go like this, and on stun state change we can call this and just pass this one in, the is stunned. which in this case is true. And there's one more place where we set the stun, which is in clear stun. And again, here where we clear the stun, we can just move this over and call this event dispatcher. So drag it out and call it like this and just connect the stunt here again. So yeah, again, just every time we set or change the stunt, we just trigger this event. And yeah, this event dispatcher is something we can subscribe to. So on the AIC enemy, not on begin play, but on possess, event on possess, we can then simply do this, and the possessed pawn, we can cast it to paper char, cast it to action char, which is our custom character, like this. And then we want to bind the event, so we can bind stun. So bind event to stun state changed. And from the event, we can create.
I don't know if that's correct. What program software do you use when designing microelectronics? So, generally speaking, depending on, like, let's say you had some, like, so lamb is a type of tool set that makes a bunch of dry etch tools. Dry etching is just a part of microchips. And so literally like every single one of these companies like Lam that do, hey, this does this for this process, this comes with software, and this is how they make money. Like they make money on their like $20 million tools, but their subscription to their software is like $100K a year per tool. And so it's like always this proprietary software that like is based off of them with some sort of subscription based thing. And like also that comes with like their service contracts for the tool. No, so there is something called K layout, and K layout helps you visually see what each die structure look like. So 1 second, I'll go get let me get my camera. You guys get to meet me today. Well, we'll see. I'll show you some microchips. One sec. Let me get it fucking working. It's like the worst program in the world. Oh, I know what I have to do. I don't want to take too much of your time. It seems like you have other things planned for today, learning UE and Aseprite. It's okay. I don't mind. We got nothing but time in this chat, bro. Nothing but time. What's up, homies? It's gonna be hard to see, but basically, this is like kind of a foundation for like what you would think is kind of like, this is like microcontrollers, but the layout didn't end up working the way we wanted it to. But you see how like it's kind of like printed over and over again down the whole thing. And so the reflection is so bad. It's so bad. Yeah, that's okay. That's not bad. You could, that's readable, but you could see in the reflection like each little speck of like the dye. But yeah, there's so much that the naked eye can pick up from this, but overall, to make each of this layout is done through like to make a structure, to make RAM, to do that kind of stuff. There are software like that. K layout is one of them, but it's more of like a viewer. But I worked in yield, making sure that the microchips came out good, working. I'm slightly familiar with the process. Yay, that's amazing. I'd love to hear that because literally 0 people are. Yeah, it's not often at all that you find anybody that knows what the fuck I'm talking about. Usually they're like, oh, how do you put the little pieces together? Is like the literal go-to phrase. Shoe whore? You're gonna eat shoe whore soon? What is that? What kind of stuff do you work on? B-Hop, do you work on any games? PP action char. I feel like this might have to be.
And then we want to bind the event, so you can bind stun. So bind event to stun state changed.
I think it's like create event.
From the event we can create event and sorry, not event, actually custom, add custom event.
Yeah.
And just call it on stun state.
Oh, custom event. Okay, so that is different. On stun state
changed. And yeah, just the same name as here, but with on.
I work on a lot of things related to software. I do AI, machine learning, game dev, and big data. That is so impressive. That is so cool, bro. What is the most interesting thing you've worked on to date? You gotta tell me. Most people probably have no idea that microchips originally come from wafers like that, and half of them would most likely think that circuit board is like a chip. Yes, 100%. 100%. And I also, like, a part of circuit boards with like resistors and everything, all of that is a semiconductor process too. Resistors, capacitors, transistors, capacitors, all of that is a semiconductor process too. Like we made resistors. That was one of my first things that I ever made was a 10,000 ohm resistor. Mine yielded the highest. This is like almost 10 years ago. No, I don't know. I was okay at my job, but damn, machine learning, game dev, big data. That is. Woo.
And well, the first thing we can do is just print string. Just print string and yeah, true or false. And let's just see, compile and save. And here we can say true. And after the 3 seconds, false. So we know that this is gonna tell us the stun state. And we can then use this
Okay. Yeah. Don't need it to be the parent. I'm glad I made that note. Glad I made that fucking note. Fuck did it go? That gives us true or false for that. I bet my resist my resistor resists more than yours. It's a solid block of glass. That's impressive, bro. That's impressive. You gotta see your process for that. Impressive indeed. Aaron can stay over there. I do want this over here though. And we can get rid of that. Where was I? Okay.
with on. And well, the first thing we can do is just print string. Just print here. We can say
There we
true.
go.
And after the 3 seconds, false. So we know that this is gonna tell us the stun state. And we can then use this in the AIC enemy to set the blackboard value. So again, we can just right click and get blackboard, the bottom one, and set value as bool. Yeah, set value as bool. We can get rid of the print string, put that in here. The bool value is this is stunned, and the key, we need to create a new key and just promote the variable is stunned key, like this, is stunned key, and compile and save, and then here just call it is stunned. And again, this needs
this needs to be the same as like what's in Blackboard, right? Yeah, so let's just copy paste. Cool. Let's make a redirect node.
to be the same name as here as the variable name. And yeah, this is pretty much it. We are...
Oh, if you guys ever want to learn anything about the microchip process, I am a fucking complete nerd about it. So let me know. I'll be happy to talk your ears off.
Setting the value on the blackboard here. And the way you can actually test this is that we go here and you can just press Alt and P to bring up the...
Okay, so Alt and P.
play window, and we can see here is stunned is false. But if I attack, you can see on the bottom right is stunned is true, and then again is stunned is false. Yeah, right at the bottom right you can see it in the background. So we can see that the blackboard value is actually changing. So yeah, you saw it here on the right side. Yeah, so we can see that the blackboard value is changing, but the character is still moving because there's still one more thing we need to do. So we actually need to create one more selector. So we can go like this and here create a selector, which again only one of these needs to be true for it to execute. So we can connect here to the left side, and on the right side we just want to wait. And yeah, just wait for 5 seconds, because yeah, if this doesn't work, we just don't want to do anything. And yeah, so
I can see how this can get so out of hand so quickly.
Just by default,
oh my god,
it's only gonna check this value once and then wait until this task is completed. However, we want to cancel the current task in case this is stunned changes. So even if we're already moving to,
how was your day, Frakes?
We get stunned, we want to stop moving and go into wait. And on the other hand, like while we're waiting, if the is stunned is cleared, we want to start moving again. So we can just go here and then go to, yeah, on result change is fine, but observer aborts and both. So it's gonna abort this side and this side depending on if this changes. So we can just save and go here and start, and now I attack and the character cannot move while he is stunned. Here to the left side, and on the right side we just want to wait. And yeah, just wait for 5 seconds.
So waiting,
because yeah, if this doesn't work, we just don't want to do anything. And yeah, so one more important thing here is that just by default it's only gonna check this value once and then wait until this task is completed. However, we want to cancel the current task in case this is stunned changes. So
is this the, this isn't the blackboard, this is the behavior tree. Behavior tree. Apologies for the delay reply. The most fascinating project I've ever undertaken and involved utilizing satellite imagery data to detect pesticide misuse and environmental disasters. Now, if that isn't the fucking coolest thing I've heard all day. That is sick, dude. That is so cool. Wow. What language do you even do that in? R? Is it multiple languages? Behavior tree. Black. Board. Based. Condition. And enemies move or not. wait, or move. This involves observer aborts both. Mainly Python. Wow. Talking to satellites and fucking Python. Hell yeah. What kind of games are you working on?
Even if we're already moving to, in the case that we get stunned, we want to stop moving and go into wait. And on the other hand, like while we're waiting, if the stand is cleared, we want to start moving again. So we can just go here and then go to...
Let me show you just a sec. Cool, thank you.
Change is fine, but observer aborts and both. So it's gonna abort this side and this side. And now I attack and the character cannot move while he is stunned. And then he moves again. So this is exactly what we want. Cleanest to our variable stun length char. So now let's just go back to the BP action char and look for stun length, our variable stun length, and just set this back to 0.5, which I think is the value we had before, and compile save. And yeah, so now the stun is just very short, but yeah, we can see the character stops and then starts moving.
Wait, now you're not following me? I feel like it was working here. What is it, Alt P or something? What the fuck? Oh, come on. Tough. Keep in mind, it's just a hobby project. Bro, I can't even get my AI to start moving. Without running into problems every time I change something. I think I had to be in the tree here. I botched something.
Moving again, so cleanest. And yeah, again, there's multiple ways we could have implemented this, but I think this is actually the cleanest way that makes the most sense. This on result change is fine, but observer aborts and both. So it's gonna abort this side and this side depending on if this changes. So we can just save and go here and start, and now I attack and the character cannot move while he is stunned. And then he moves again. So this is exactly what we want. And yeah, again, there's multiple ways we could have implemented this, but I think this is actually the cleanest way that makes the most sense. So now let's just go back to the BP action char and look for stun length, our variable stun length.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How long is that? How long is that before he starts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 or 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. What do I have that's a 5-second timer? What is wait 5 seconds? Ah. So it's waiting first.
And just set and save, and then and 5, which I think is the value we had before, and compile and save. And yeah, so now the stun is just very short, but yeah, we can see the character 4 and this, but I think this is actually the cleanest way that makes the most sense. So now let's just go back to the BP action chart and look for 0.5 stun is just which I think is the value we had before, and compile and save. And yeah, so now the stun is just very short, but yeah, we can see the character stops.
He like runs right off rip though. So, hell yeah. Nice. Very nice, very nice. Did you link it somewhere, B-Hop? Am I just a dummy-dum? A dummy-dum. Oh. Oh, this is cool. Are you doing like a Kerbal Space Program type of thing? Oh, no, we're sorry. Cool. That's awesome. There definitely needs to be more games like that in the space. There are not enough good ones, and not, I think, Kerbal Space Program, I think like hardly gets the credit that it deserves, but I definitely think it can be dethroned by something more. Just by not by something more, but like a slightly different idea. Not just getting to the moon, right? Or going to Mars. Dude, cool. That's awesome.
It's moving again, which is nice.
Making enemies change directions. Okay, so I think this is probably going to be my last module for today, because then we have, well, let's see. Actually, let's see. Making the enemy change directions, allowing enemy to attack, handling aggro, and creating the ability system. Let's get through the next 3. Let's get through the next 3 so that we finish up the enemy, and then we can at least we can look at the ability system.
We want to make sure that the enemy character also just turns left and right and doesn't get these weird angles fall.
I don't know. I kind of fuck with this. What do you guys think? I don't like that it decides to wait first. I think that is, but like, you see this? How it kind of like goes into like a 2D state when I'm like here, you know, and you can't really like, it just kind of like disappears. I kind of like it. I want to make them like thicker though. I don't want to make it like this 2D slice that we can kind of see here. Like, look, isn't it funny how it kind of like follows me like that? It's like a little like 2D-esque instead of, yeah, instead of like doing this for me. But I kind of like the idea of making it like that, just like, yeah, paper thin enemies. Yeah, like how do we just like pull them apart, you know? It's this. Wazda, yeah. I mainly started the project to learn a bit about fluid dynamics and orbit simulation prediction. That's fucking cool, bro. just to learn about just like having a program that you can do kind of your own constraints in. Yeah, so it does this side first, where I wanted to check this condition before it does the other one. So yes, do both. Or, what if I do lower priority? I feel like that's just gonna make, yeah, that's not gonna change anything. I didn't think so. Both.
Following us. And the way we can do that is to open up the content drawer, Blueprints AI, and open up AIC enemy. And in here, we just create a new function and call it set focus direction. And we just go to the event graph and call this on tick. So it's updated on every tick. Yeah, and now we have to fill out what is in here. And now we have to fill out what is in here. So the first thing you want to do is to make sure that we have a reference to our owning character. So we can go to the event graph, and here on possess, we cast to the BP action char, but then we just use it right away. We don't save it. So we can open up some space here and then promote to variable and just call it action char like this, put it in here, and I can cut this line, hold alt and press left click, and then just connect the action char here because it looks cleaner. And yeah, so now
I'm not. I am setting it, and then I guess why. Okay. I feel like this is redundant, but
the possess
let him
event,
cook.
we're gonna save the action char, and we can then use this in set focus direction. So in here there's a couple of tests we want to do. So first we want to make sure that we have an attack target. So attack target is valid, the bottom one. Check this. So yeah, if it's not valid, there's going to be errors. So we just want to make sure that the attack target is valid. And then we also want to get the action chart and make sure that is attacking not. So we don't want to not boolean. Don't want to be allowed to change the direction while we're attacking. And also action char is stunned. And here again, not, because again, not boolean. We don't want to allow turning around while we are stunned. And then this should be and boolean. So we are not attacking and we are not stunned is what we're checking for here. And then add a branch here as well and connect this. And yes, so only in that case are we gonna turn around. So bottom one, check this. So yeah, if it's not valid, there's going to be errors. So we just want to make sure that the attack target is valid. And then we also want to get the action chart and make sure that is attacking not. So we don't want to not boolean. Don't want to be allowed to change the direction while we're attacking. And also action char is
or
stunned.
while you're stunned. Okay, and that's what this is
Here
checking.
again, not, because again, not Boolean. We don't want to allow turning around while we are stunned. And then this should be and Boolean. So we are not attacking and we are not stunned is what we're checking for here. And then add a branch here as well and connect this. And yes, so only in that case are we gonna turn around. So after this, we can get the action char and get actor location, so we know where it is in the world. And then also from the attack target, get actor location, like this. Yeah, so here we want to find the look at rotation. So from the action chart, if we look into the direction of the attack target, this is the find look at rotation we're gonna get. And yes, it's gonna get us a rotation in world space. And we want to know the forward direction of that rotation. So we can get forward vector, which is gonna give us the forward direction. However, we only care about the X. So we can split the struct pin because yeah, we only care about the X from the forward. And we can then again get the owning the action chart, get the actor location, and plus add. And here we can split this, and because again we only can find the look at rotation. So from the action chart, if we look into the direction of the attack target,
so the action char, we're going to get the location of that, and then the player get the location of that. Find look at rotation.
This is the find look at rotation we're gonna get, and yes, it's gonna get us a rotation in world space. And we want to know the forward direction of that rotation, so we can get forward vector, which is gonna give us the forward direction. However, we only care about the X, so we can split
because we're just kind of moving in like 2D.
We only care about the X from the forward, and we can then again get the owning the action chart, get the actor location, and plus add. And here we can split this, and because again we only care about the X, so we basically just threw away the Y and the Z like this. And then we can set focal point on the AI controller, and that's true. And well, the thing is, the focal point is like right in front of our face. So basically what we do here is that we get the location of our action character and then simply get the forward look at rotation and just the X. So this is just going to be a very small value, but it is going to be right in front of our face, either to the left or to the right, well, depending on if the attack target is on our left or our right. And we can just compile and save, and now if we start, the character is looking left. Even if I go down, it's just looking left, and once I pass the line, it starts looking right. And this is the way it is in these kind of beat 'em ups and all these kind of games. This is the way it works.
So this is the logic that they use for this.
And one issue that you
so it's basically, so each enemy is always paying attention to where the character is in space, so that if it does pass the action char, but then the set focal point is where it'll go to. Okay. Well, it's a lot of brain power for something as much as it is for looking at somebody move left and right. It's kind of crazy. Get actor location, get actor location, look at the rotation, find the forward vector of that location. We find it on the X plane attached to that actor, and then we set that actor. Wow. Cool that they like thought of that.
See here is now that if we're attacking, it actually flips onto the other side, which is a little bit buggy. So the way we want to do this now is that in the case that this is not true, in the false case, we also want to set the focal point. So in this case, we just want to set it to what it already is. So we can just get the action char location and action char get forward vector. Get forward. Get actor forward vector. Get actor forward vector. So this is again just gonna give us a small value in front of our face.
Yep.
And we can just put this together. And here, yeah, set focal point like this. And do this in the case that it's false. So we just maintain our current position if we are attacking or are stunned. And actually also if we don't have an attack target, we just want to make sure that we stay looking into the same direction. So we can just go like this and create some more space here. So yeah, in that case, we just maintain our current focal point like this without bugging out and turning to the other side. And just compile and save like this. And let's see again. I attack and we just stay in the same direction. And also, yeah, nothing else is bugging out. We have the same behavior as before. And I think this is a very clean implementation. And we didn't have to bother with doing anything in the action character or inside of the shark. We just have this inside of the AI controller, which is nice and clean because this has no relation to our player. So our enemy is starting to come along, however, it's still not attacking us. And there's still other things we still want to improve. And we're going to take care of that.
Excellent.
There's one more issue we have right now, though. If we defeat the enemy, it can still turn around.
Oh, does it still look at us when it's dead?
Behavior we don't want. So actually in the AIC enemy, where we set the focus direction, here we would also
That's funny.
check for is that not. But at this point, this all seems kind of redundant, and we can just go into the action char. Blueprints, characters, action char, and in here we can create a new function.
I want to make a new function for this.
And I'm just gonna call it can act.
Can act.
And compile and save. And we want this to be a pure function. And I'm gonna show you later what this does, but yeah, so we can just return. Add return node here, and for the output we just want to say can act, and it's a boolean, so it just, and I'm going to show you later what this does, but yeah, so we can just return add return node here, and for the output we just want to say can act, and it's a boolean, so it's just going to be true or false. And yeah, so what we can do here now is get is attacking, get is defeated, and get is stunned.
Is attacking, is stunned, is defeated.
So we want to make sure that, is attacking not boolean, is stunned not, and is defeated not. I want to make sure that all of these are end boolean. So we have it like this and just return this. So we are not attacking, we are not stunned, and we are not defeated. Just like this. And yeah, so now we just combined all of these together so we can compile and save. And in the AIC,
Beautiful. Masterclass.
the enemy. Now I don't have to check for each of these. I can just delete this. And from the action chart, I can just can act.
Can act. That's awesome.
And yeah, since this is a pure function, we just get this nice and compact little node here. If we go back and make this a not pure function and compile and save, we have this hole with the execution pins, but this also works, but it just makes it more bulky. So yeah, just make it pure, compile and save, and here I can just get rid of this now, and move this over here, and yeah, just can act. And this is much more compact because we're going to use this pattern a lot. And now, if I start, everything here still works the same, works just fine. If I defeat the enemy, even after defeat, it's not gonna turn around anymore, because now in can act, we're just checking for that as well.
Let's see it. Nice.
So now it's finally time to make the shark attack our player. And again, there's many different ways we can do this, but I think we're gonna make a very compact system using a behavior tree task. So in the blueprints AI, we can just make a new folder here and call tasks, like this, and go in here, right click, and go to blueprint class, and under all classes, look for behavior tree BT task. Yeah, the BT task blueprint base. And yeah, just select and make a new one. And I'm gonna call this BTT try attack. Just like this, and open it up. And yeah, there's nothing in here, but again, similar to the animation notify that we created before, the notify state, there are overridable functions that we have.
Let's
here.
check them out.
So here we have the receive execute AI, like this, and this is what happens when this task gets activated. And well, the thing that we want to do here is we get the control pawn and cast two BP shark, because yeah, that's the enemy. Again, if you have an enemy parent, you could just cast to the enemy parent. And here we can get anim instance from paper ZD, like this, and then we can override, play animation override with callbacks, like this. And here for the anim sequence, we want to use the attack. And here things get a bit nasty, because we have the attacks of the player, of the captain, and of the shark. So the way you can tell this is, if you look at the data here at the bottom, you can see the path. And the path is game, blueprints, characters, shark, anim sequences. So we know this is the correct one.
Interesting.
You can just pick it here. The false slot is correct, and all of this is correct. So we can then call finish execute here. And well, it finished execution on complete. And then that's when it's successful. And we can copy paste this, and in the case that it's cancelled, well, it's unsuccessful. So this is pretty much the state we have. So we have the attack here. Once it's completed, we know the task is finished. Once it's cancelled, we know the
Easy
task
peasy.
Wasn't successful. But this isn't everything, because we aren't really setting the attack state here. So we want to, again, from this BP shark, we can just set attacking, set is attacking, and set this here when we start the animation, and create some space here. We want to, again, from this BP shark, we can just set attacking, set is attacking, and set this here when we start the animation, and create some space here, and do it like this. Like this, and yes, so is attacking true. And in the other cases here, we can set is attacking to false, like this, and also like here, because the same condition. yeah, like this. And yeah, just create.
What in the motherfucker did he do? He did this? Nothing. Putting this up here. These two conditions are down here. This is behind it, attached to this. It is attacking on completed. If it's successful, it is attacking. This is what it's trying to do. So we can move that slightly down. And then this also gets driven in here. And that's on, canceled, completed. We finished the execution. I mean, that's fine there, I guess. So check. Not checked. Checked. Not checked.
Create some real
Cool.
nodes here, go through the middle. Like this. Yeah, so this looks a bit confusing, but let's have a look at it first. Compile and save. And we then need to use this in our Blueprints AI, our BT, the behavior tree. So here we have the move to,
And then we
and
move
the
to
selector,
attack.
it's gonna look for the first one that works, and it's gonna execute. It's gonna finish once one of these was successful. So we're gonna create another one here, and we can use the BTT try attack, which we just created. And we have a certain and we need to check the distance to the player to allow this to work. So here we can right click and add a decorator, and it's gonna be is at location. So we don't want to check the self actor, but check the attack target. So if we're at the location of the attack target, we know that we can attack. If that's not the case, this is gonna fail and we're just gonna move towards the target. But again, here we have the acceptance radius, which again is
50?
the distance
No.
that we want to have to the player to allow this. But I think 50 is maybe too short. We
Short?
can maybe check for 100 and
Okay.
see if this works. And now we can just go to the map and try this out. And yeah, the enemy is attacking.
Maybe because it's still waiting.
So yeah, but
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So we need to make sure that in the parent we have all of these are set to true. This is false. Branch.
and
BTT try attack.
allow this and we have the attack top towards the target. But again, here we have the acceptance radius. T in out save. They have can start and create it. Oh, this blueprint policy notified happens when this we wanted me again. If you have an enemy parent, you could just cast to the enemy parent, and
That's
here
the
we can
shark.
get anim. Then we can open this, and here for the anim sequence, we want to use the attack, and here things get a bit nasty because we have the attacks of the player, of the captain, and of the shark. So the way you can tell this is if you look at the data here at the bottom, you can see the passes. So we know this is the correct one. You can just pick it here. The false slot is correct, and all of this is correct. So we can then call, and well, it finished. And we can copy paste this and the state we have. So we have the attack here. Once it's successful, but shark we can just set is attacking, and set this here when we start the animation, and create some space here.
And start
like
the animation.
And yes, so is attacking true. And in the other cases here, we can set is attacking to false, like this, and also like here because the same condition.
So this gets passed through here. It is successful. Here, 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 here. Uncancelled.
We can just make a new folder here and go to tree, the BT tab, and I'm up. And by CD, receive this AI. Like
And this is
this, and has two. Yeah, that's the enemy. Again, if you have a get anim instance from paper ZD, like this, and then we can set is attacking, and so we're just gonna move towards the allow this to, and it's gonna execute. It's gonna finish once one of these was successful. So we're gonna create another one here, and we can use the BTT try attack, which we just created.
Matter?
And we have a certain and we need to check the distance to the player to allow this to work. So here we can right click and add a decorator, and it's gonna be is at location. So we don't want to check the self actor, but check the attack target.
Check the attack target. That's what I needed.
Target, we know that we can.
Let's go, bro. Come on. I'm ready. Ooh. I got fucked. Yeah, loser. Loser bitch. Get fucked. Munch, munch, munch. Let's go.
Attack. If that's new, we have to the player to allow this, but I think 50.
I need a whole fucking lesson on behavior trees. I feel like getting a notebook with misplay. I feel like I probably should have gotten something else. Something digital, so at least I can just like add to it, you know? Like, oh, here's this section that I need to work on, and then like I'm sitting there working on the section, and then oh, look at that, I'm out of space. Now that I'm out of space, what did I want to do? Oh yeah, I want to go on Twitch from my phone. Search. Oh, okay.
50 is maybe too short. We can just maybe check for 100. And also we can see that if we walk like this, it cannot turn around until the attack is over, which is the behavior we want. But the problem here is that the character comes too close to us. So in the behavior tree, I think for move to, yeah, the acceptance radius is too small. So maybe we set this to 50.
This to 50.
Like this. And yeah, it starts attacking us from further away. Like this. And the is at location check. We want to set this to 50 as well. The acceptance radius on the
acceptance radius. 5 seconds. Gotta get the AI generated and booting up.
The is at location check. And now, yeah. So now it's kind of coming towards us. And it's attacking, we run away. It's attacking again. Just like this. Yeah, so this is working correctly. But again, you might not be a fan of how this behavior tree task looks.
Oh. Speaking of. Oh, what a shame. Didn't follow. That was so cool though. Homie, he was fucking doing satellites and shit. That's pretty beast mode, honestly. That's so cool. Yeah, it's tough.
Looks, but the thing is that it's extremely convenient for us to just have the callback in here, because we need to call this finish execute on completed and on cancelled, so it just makes it very easy to have it in here. Of course, you could also have all of this logic, all of this was setting the attack, everything except for the finish execute. You could put this into the action char and then just call the function on the action char, which is up to your personal preference, whichever you like. But I think in this particular case, this actually makes it easier to understand and cleaner. And again, one issue we have now, which is a bit hard to see, that even while we're stunned, we can still walk, the character can still move. So just to show that again, we can go to the stun length and in the action char, BP action char, and set the stun length to 3 seconds just to show this. So we're attacked and we can still walk even though we're stunned. So we still need to do something about that. And even more so, even while we're dead, like this, we can still jump.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team. Yeah, started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now.
So I had this problem with my Sprite, and I asked like the guy who's like running the course. I'm not sure what the spamming was there, but he can figure that out. Let's finish up this module,
which is not great. So we want to go to the blueprint characters captain, open up the BP captain, and we want to add a few checks in here.
characters.
So for jump, it's not attacking, because before we created this can act function. For the jump, we can just call can act. This means that if we're attacking, we cannot jump. If we're stunned, we cannot jump. And if we're defeated, we cannot jump. So this is fine. And we want to use the same for our move. Again, not just is attacking, but if we're dead, we don't want to move. And also if we're stunned, we don't want to move. So we can just use this copy, paste it here, can act, like this. And I think this is it. Well, actually for the attack as well, we don't want to be able to attack
Yeah, we can change this one too.
while we're stunned. So here again, we can just get can act on the player, the BP captain. And let's see now, even if the enemy attacks us, I try to walk, I cannot.
Let's see. So now I shouldn't be able to move at all. Nope. Can't jump either. Hold on. But he's still attacking.
I'm stun locked actually right now. But also, yeah, like while I am.
Alright, so it's awesome shoe whore. How was it? I mean, like, what is it?
I cannot.
How is it? How was it? What is it?
So this is great. While I'm dead, I cannot attack. I cannot jump. I cannot move. So
Was bussin' bussin'.
us from doing actions that were.
You watch Cold Ones? You watch the Cold Ones podcast? Do, 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 do.
Not supposed to be doing. And yeah, so now that we check this, we can go back to the action char and set our stun length to 0.5 again. Because yeah, the problem with 3 seconds is that if we get hit once, we're basically dead. Because
Stun lock.
after we're attacked, well, if we don't die, even after we're attacked, we can kind of attack back like this and then step away. So the issue with the enemy is that it can still attack us while it's stunned, and it can also still attack us while it's dead, and it gets kind of locked here. So we also need to take care of that. So in the BTD try attack, we need to check for more things. So here, where we cast to the shark, before we execute this, we also want to check can act, like this. And here we create a branch, like this. And yeah, if we can act, then we do this. And if we cannot act, well, we just go down here to the finish execute.
Better not be 3 spices. Checking to see for this branch if he can act in the first place in order to attack. I feel like this will work just on itself. So it was a make it yourself type of meal where the ingredients were jam, salt, scrambled eggs, cream, cheese, toast, French bread, and there was chai. I personally went with fresh bread, scrambled eggs, hot sauce combined. It was lit. Had some chai. It was a good meal. Good. Sounds like some good food. I hope it was all seasoned.
And the not unsuccessful finish execute, like this, and now compile and save.
Oh. Yeah, those both get fed into that. Cool.
Save and go in here. And I attack, and it cannot attack while it's stunned. And then it's dead, and it cannot attack anymore. Just like this. Yeah, so this is fine now. But even now there's still an issue left. So even if we attack while the enemy is attacking, we don't cancel the enemy's attack, and it just hits us. But the thing is, if the enemy is attacking and we attack it first, it should get stunned and cancel the override. So the way we can fix this is that we go to the BP action char, and in the receive attack where we get stunned, in the receive attack where we get stunned, we create some space here, like this, and we can get the anim instance, like this, and call override, and stop all animation overrides. So because the attack animation override, it kind of overrides our jump to the stunned node, it will be dominant over this. So we need to cancel it, the override. So compile and save, and now if I go back here, the enemy attacks, and I stop it, and you can see that we can stop the attack now. Like this, and we can stop the attack now, and the enemy gets stunned. And this works fine during the stun state, but actually this does not work before the death state.
Yeah.
And this is because we are branching on the action chart here. We are only doing this when stunned. but actually we should do this anyway.
Has to be
not just
earlier.
in this case, so actually I can
I'm gonna see a erg bid and then I'll come back. Okay, enjoy. See you later. I know there's not really too much interesting going on here, but I appreciate you guys being here no matter what.
Control X to remove this and move this over here and make sure that this happens either way, even if we go into the death state or if we get stunned like this, and just control V. Here, put it here. So yeah, just make sure that the attack is being cancelled
Right before the branch.
So compound save, and now I stop the attack. Yes, I stop the attack. I stop the attack, and even didn't really. And here, yes, I stop the attack. I stop the attack. I stop the attack, and now last hit. it was too fast. I stop the attack. And it works, like even during the death state, it's not overriding the attack. And yeah, sorry, this is a little bit complicated, but for systems like this, there are a lot of small things like this we have to take care of that can cause bugs.
It really does.
Especially if we
He's
use
so
an override,
thorough.
because it literally overrides the behavior of our animation. So we need to make sure that we cancel the attack when we get stunned or if we die. And yeah, so this applies to both the player and also the enemy. So even if I try to attack and he hits me first, it cancels my attack correctly. Well, my attack is really fast though, so it's kind of hard to show. But yeah, it works on both sides of the player and the enemy. So yeah, these are the small little things you need to pay attention to when you make systems like this to not have the game bug.
So I need to make my hammer swing faster. So that's what we need to see first. Attack. And then because, well, I guess we can make the enemy shorter, is what we should do. Or let's go try doing that. Main character. So I do have that. So with this now, we can can go in here. Go in here. So stun. So we can idle. We can fall back into idle. We can rise, fall, or run out of a stun. I guess be on the input controller. Content, inputs, actions. Input action, special. And then so let's look at attack. Okay. So there's no difference there. So that's good. And then so we can go back, look at this. We want a map. Special. Q is E. No modifiers. Cool. So now
In this episode, we're gonna set up our player inputs and you can put it somewhere. Here again, functions go here and use a good B and jump up fine. And simple and work. And controller P captain, we go to the spring on compile and save. And now I go left, I go right. There's no issue.
cool.
Let's set up the animations using paper ZD for our play. We want to in a and we can because yeah, the one thing that ABP all character movement component all the way at the bottom, going here, default animation component, and here for the anim instance class we need to select our ABP captain, which we just set up, and compile and save. And yeah, if you don't do this, nothing's jump on the L key. Yeah, you see the nice bounce, and then it just keeps the animation going. So we're not looping, which is nice. And you can also see the fall animation. It's working correctly. And yeah, if we walk off here, you can also, when we walk off the jump in the jump right E position, instead we get a smooth, and here that. In this video, we're gonna grant or create a new state for attack, and then create a condition to go into the attack. Very clean. We're gonna use a jump like we did in the attack, and then go from the attack. We also about this, right? Things like timer, do a lot of them. Yes, in simpler. And you might ZD is back in the captain blueprint. We can just go to the event graph and create a new IA input action for the attack. So IA attack, and on start it. So we can just right click and get anim instance from paper ZD, not these on top.
Oh, okay. So I need to call this. do this. Copy paste. Can he act? Special. Oh, that's because I didn't paper ZD.
Just get anim instance from paper ZD. And the play animation override with call. If we this is fine. So override and on cancelled on attack, we just go from started into here, play the animation with override, and here we can simply pick the animation sequence, and it is connected to the, and it knows about all the sequences that we set on the animation source. So we want to use the attack sequence that we set up before. You can look at it here in the AS Captain, the attack. So this is why our blueprints know about this. Yeah, so we have this, and yeah, default slot is fine. Play rate, starting position. See that, and yeah, the attacking is playing, but this, we can just go out here, and on the ABP Captain, we want them out in the anim graph, where here, and locomotion and the output animation, we want to create a slot. So we can drag off here and new override slot. And go like this and connect it here. And you can see that the name here is default slot. And this name needs to match this one. But yeah, by default, it is already default slot on both. So we don't have to change anything here. And compile and save. And here also you can compile and save. And here, if I press J now, the attack is playing. It was this easy. So the great thing with these overrides,
So it's actually called something like Zag. Zag. I'm trying to get a special move going, but of course I have no idea if I'm doing it correctly or not. So actually, if I go outside the box, I'm pretty sure he'll be like, cool. So he's just chilling over there for now. So I'm calling the wrong... this is wrong. Enhanced. I guess, how do I make one of these? Add a T to the end. But it's a channel that's interesting science videos. Oh. Right up my alley. AI. IA. Special. Oh, we're in business. blocked by enemies, bro. Receive damage. It was about what killed dinosaurs and not just the asteroid, but rather in India there was a lot of geothermal activity which made rivers and lavas and tons of CO2 in the atmosphere. Yeah. Causing ice age. I am familiar. And then is attacking. Shake, distance, location, is defeated. Current health, max health, stun length, is stunned. So I don't remember where I put in values for damage. Oh, it's in the parent. I thought it was in the parent. Wow, that's like exactly what I said. Current health damage. Where is... Yeah, dinosaurs and shit are cool. Fuck, cool, bro. Do you believe dinosaurs are real? You a believer in the dinosaurs? I guess it'd be interesting if you did, because like you said, you don't believe in evolution. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. That is what I would have expected. See, this is why I feel like I could be better at this.
Right, so this additions we don't and forget itself with the slot. And yeah, so this in the last lesson we implemented the damage, and so we're gonna go to, and the first thing we need to implement this on the BP action chart. So we can have a variable here, make a variable called max health, to make it can just do it all that we can, and it's here on begin play it's just gonna. So there are multiple ways of applying damage. It also has online functionality built in, replication, which is this, attack many not done, and handle all of these things. It would just make more sense to just handle the damage inside of here as well. So we want to handle the damage on the left side at first.
So it is receiving.
Because there's no need to stun an enemy if they're already at 0 health. So we're just gonna start on the left side with the health. So this just means default setup. This one, rename it to a new state here. And yeah, we can just the tower climb game, and then open this up and play Defeated, which is what we want. Again, I think this is better though. And connect this back into idle, so we can add an instance. So through and move this down. And yeah, for now that is here and start. And if I attack, stunned, 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 and the last time defeated. And pile and save, defeated. And better though. On this and state. So
where did he put the damage?
So we have the current health minus subtract the damage like this, and these cross over like this. And for the receive attack, we want to add an input, and the input should be damage and a float like this.
Okay. Float special damage is 100. And so get compile save. Oh, it has like no hitbox. It just does the animation. All right, next we have to figure out this, how long it takes to attack. Which I believe is Paper ZD's frame rate. So let's go to... The Trek was actually smart. The Trek was actually the smartest dinosaur, with the dumbest being the Stegosaurus with an IQ of a banana, and the Trek has an IQ of a crocodile. Oh, that's pretty cool. The Trek, the T-Rex. I was expecting a capital. That's funny. Yes, the capital. Let's go with... Is this in the flip book I gotta go to then? Character, main character, animation sequences, content, shotgun guy, attack, edit flip book. This plays at 13 frames. Play it at 15. And so now that should have changed everything. Yeah, this is... It just smacks the bitch. All right. We tried. We tried. I have like part of it constructed, but nothing we can't get rid of. Or it's special, yeah. We'll add it when we know. Man, did you know that a pterodactyl was about 40 times as tall as a human? Yeah, those things like literally ruled the sky ruled this guy. I saw one at the Natural History Museum. They are, it's forget it. Let alone standing like next to one.
One more improvement you
Okay. Let's. Okay. My animations are too long. You are on in 11 hours. You on in 11 hours. Will I be on in 11 hours? 11 hours from now is, so 12 hours from, no. I won't even be awake. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today. A lot of improvements with the enemy AI. Got an attacking, moving, following us. Made a parameter for where it can go within. Well, I'm gonna sleep for 11 hours. See you later. Oh, see you, brother. Yeah, so we did the whole enemy area. We did enemy stuns, stunning me, changing direction, being able to follow me, attack me. And now we have to handle aggro, the ability system, creating a sword throw. And then adding the sword throw animation, and then adding the map. Very cool. Almost done with the whole tutorial. Probably have like maybe 20 hours left. Is that a lot? Can probably get it done in 10. But for now, see you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out. Appreciate it. You guys have a good rest of your night, morning. Peace, love, and mushrooms. Later, skaters.